there is no one person on any team that does everything, right? You have different individuals that are skilled in different areas. Treat others the way that you want to be treated.
You talk about the power of journaling. So what would you say to folks listening in, entrepreneurs, athletes in the making, who's ever tuned in? How is journaling helping you and changed you?
It has helped me tremendously in my life. It helps you get information out of your head and put it on paper. You don't believe that? Anytime that you've written a note to your wife or girlfriend, guess what you did? You put emotion on paper, right? And be able to help you then navigate the next direction you need to take on whatever the situation is. And for me, that started because of the dark place that I was in.
What's one piece of advice that you would want to give to someone that wants to succeed at anything? Welcome to Built to Scale with Anthony Mongeluzo, and I am your host here with 8-time Pro Bowler, legendary Eagle, NFL Hall of Famer, the great Brian Dawkins. How are you doing today, Brian?
I'm blessed, Anthony. Thank you for having me, and you left one out. I had nine.
Guess what? When I went through everything, I actually ran everything through AI. So this, for our technology fans out there, don't believe Grok all the time. So 9 it is. And 9's a good number because I was born on 9/9. So I like that. So
there you go.
One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, everyone admires you for your intensity on the football field. You're a man of faith. You've done great things in the community. But what we really want to talk today about your foundation and how you've taken the skills that you had and the leadership in the locker room now to helping your community. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you. Brian Dawkins Impact Foundation was started in 2019. And there's that 9 again, 2019. And it was really started from a place in my heart. It was, I during my career, I gave of my time and I gave of my resources to other charitable organizations, right? Burn Prevention Foundation at one time, juvenile diabetes for a long time. I still do that, do things with diabetes even to this day. But it put in my heart to start a foundation of my own. So we started it. And the premise of it is to bless single parent and the children in the household with transformational moments to help them then go after life in a different way, right? That's kind of everything broken down real quick. And there's different things that we like to do to be able to bless those families. Again, we want to bless the child in the household, but we also want to bless the parent in the household. Why is that important? Because every time that child comes home to that household, if the parent is not growing, then that's not going to be a good household to grow in, right? And then also, I was blessed by someone to have the opportunity to do something that I would not been able to do without this person that I'll never be able to meet. It's somebody that I will never be able to meet. And they blessed me with an opportunity to do something that I then went on to then come up with a vision for myself, for my future that I'm living in now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, walk me through and walk everyone through. So you have this amazing career. You could do whatever you want at this point. You've earned it. And you really have to learn different skills to be the CEO and a leader of a nonprofit. Like obviously, being the safety that you were, reading defenses and, being one of the smartest players on the field. How did you get those lessons and everything to say, okay, I'm going to lead this organization. I'm going to be a CEO and I'm going to take different skills now, right? So how'd that all come about? Because it just didn't take you 60 seconds to figure this out. You had to put it together, get the websites, get the registration. I mean, there's a lot to it.
And this is where you have an understanding that there is no one person on any team that does everything, right? You have different individuals that are skilled in different areas. The things that you just mentioned, many of those things, especially like websites, I have no idea about some of those things. So what did I do? I was blessed to hire individuals, and I had people that I've been blessed to come across, some very good people too. It's not just people that I hire to do things. I like do things with people that kind of have a similar heart to myself. And so I've been blessed to find a bunch of individuals to be able to help me to do things that I could not do. And I lean on them heavily in those areas.
And one thing too, talking about teams, I mean, the one thing that I've seen, going to your golf outing for the last 5 or 6 years, I mean, there's such a brotherhood in the league across everything. I mean, the amount of people that show up for you, I mean, it was 40 or more, great athletes, newscasters, sports personalities. I mean, the soiree the night before the tournament is a blast. I mean, it's one of the events I look forward to most. So how does that all translate to getting those folks to, they're flying out. I mean, they're coming for you.
Yeah, and first of all, it's a humbling thing for me to have that be the case for individuals to come out, to fly out for different places, and they don't fly out, we fly them in. So that's make that 100%.
Like, oh, that's cool, but it's still their time though.
Yeah, but I want them to feel that feeling of being wanted in that way. But really, it's the character of the person, right? Like yes, I was passionate on the field. Yes, I went out and played the game in a specific way, but I love my teammates. I really, really love my teammates. And I also wanted to always treat people the way that I wanted to be treated. I wonder where I get that from, right? The word of God tells me I'm supposed to treat people the way that I want to be treated. And so I tried my best to do that to the best of my abilities. And so because I've handled myself in such a way, I believe that invites people to still want to come back to do things, not just for me, but with me.
That's awesome. And for everyone, we're going to have links and everything if you want to sign up and attend and experience this year. Like I said, it's a can't miss event for us, and we just have so much fun. And it's a cheap plug for us. We did come in second place. We got to come in first next year, but we did rank too, which was fun. But I think Milt might have helped with that a little bit, because I could tell you it was not my golf game.
So teammates, it's a teammate, bro.
You know what? It's all the team, right? At the end of the day, there was just one number that went on the scorecard. I'm sure we all contributed somewhere, but on our team, some contributed more, and I would be called less that day. But we're trying to get better there. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, usually I'll ask people on the podcast here, tell us something that no one would know about you. But I wanted to talk about something and just have you explain it, because I know it's something you talk a lot about, and I have it at my house. It's a giveaway. You're journaling. You talk about the power of journaling. So what would you say to folks listening in, entrepreneurs, athletes in the making, who's ever tuned in? How is journaling helping you and change you?
Wow, it has helped me tremendously in my life when I first started it. And what journaling actually can do for you, it helps you get information out of your head and put it on paper, right? And because it's out of your head, it's no longer caught up in the emotion that's in your head, because in your head is also your body, right? So there's emotions usually attached to those stories that you're writing down. But when you write them down on paper, you can actually write emotion on paper. You don't believe that? Anytime that you've written a note to your wife or girlfriend, guess what you did? You put emotion on paper, right? And so when you do that, you're able to kind of remove yourself a little bit from the emotion side of things, to see what you've written down, to be able to think a little clearer and be able to help you then navigate the next direction you need to take on whatever the situation is. And for me, that started because of the dark place that I was in, and I needed something after I came on the other side of it. And I was praying about, what can I do? What are some of the things that I need to do? And this is one of the things that was given to me, to begin to start journaling. I began to start journaling about the things that I was reading about, first of all, in the Bible, doing my Bible study times. But I took that practice also to then do the things that I'm talking about now, to, what from this day was a blessing? What are some of the things that I've learned from today, right? I don't do it to that level today like I used to, but when I first started this, that's what I was doing. I was going through it. So what are the things that I learned today? What are the things that I can do better today, right? And so what that did is that helped me to then come up with answers after that, because I've asked the questions, I've gotten it out of my head. It's no longer attached to a whole bunch of emotion. Now I can make some clear decisions on the next steps to move forward with.
That's pretty cool. And I think when people hear this, they know Weapon X, right? They know the guy that's hitting people on the field, firing up the locker room. And I think it's helpful for people to hear this, because they're like, okay, you know what? If B-Dawk can do this, maybe I should give it a try, because guess what? There's not too many people tougher than you. And I think as guys, especially, right? We don't deal with that stuff sometimes. So I think that's really helpful. Now with the foundation, I know there's a bunch of different programs you do. I'm actually, I don't know if you know this or not, we actually do all the IT services for Caring People Alliance. So I've been friends with Jerry, their CEO, for a number of years. So I know you worked with them. I know you worked with Phil Abundance. Do you want to share with the listeners here some of the programs that you're helping with? I know you're doing literacy.
Yeah, so we're introducing more this year, but the pillar of our Foundation is to be able to then bless those single parents. So we have a single parent program the single parent program, yes, but we first bless the kids first, the children first in the household. And what we do is we bless them with an opportunity up to $1,500 for whatever it is they're going after, whether it's a math camp, this also can be used for if that child is needing some type of mental health, situations, so you can use it for whatever. And we bless that family with an opportunity. But again, we also bless the single parent in the household with those opportunities. But we also have a cerebral wellness. I don't talk about mental health because there's so many negative connotations attached to it. I call it cerebral wellness. So the cerebral wellness packages that we have, we're in about, I believe, 30 high schools altogether. And so it's a digital platform where Everfi comes in and they kind of teach the program to whoever's going to be doing it at the school, but we come alongside them to do that. And what it does is that it teaches young people what mental health is, what it is not, the stigmas behind it, what happens to your brain when certain things happen, the mitigating things that you can do to mitigate your emotions, and journaling is one of those things that you can do. And then it's what do you do? How do you recognize when you need help, when your friend needs help, and then how to get that help? And so that's a part of that. But it's also something in that they can do it offline. So there's a passcode that you can go, and it's about 8 caricatures, like people, and they have different stories. And each one of them, you go down the story of that person, and then you can kind of answer questions along the way, so you can learn how to then handle the situation that's being presented. And then you mentioned financial literacy. We're doing those as well for those. Not all of the schools can use them. Here in Florida, I think it's already mandated that they have to do financial literacy. In Jersey, it's not. So it's more schools in Jersey that is using the financial literacy part of it. We do have also a Young Ambassadors program, and that started in George Washington High School. And that's basically a program that teaches I think we have 30 kids in the cohort this year. No, excuse me, 12 into the cohort this year. And basically we're teaching them how powerful their stories are and how they can use what they've grown through in their life. We don't just go through life, we grow through life. But what you've grown through at this early age to not only help you, but you'll be able to then reach back to help some young people that probably is in similar situations, because this will be 11th and 12th graders. And so they'll be able to reach back to some of the young people. Matter of fact, that's the urgent, that is the calling of them. So if you sign up to be a young ambassador, you will be called to do these things, right? And so that what it does is it teaches them to recognize their voice, the voice that they have, be more confident in their voice that they have, so that they can then reach out to those younger individuals, and not just younger individuals, but even if they want to do things in the community, they'll know how to then use their voice, their story, to be able to be a blessing to other people.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad people are getting to hear this, because your foundation is doing so much. So Brian, let's get on the rapid fire. I always ask a few questions. So in life, who was your hero? Who is your hero?
Wow, who was my? It would be my dad.
A lot of people,
stuff.
And I got the pleasure of meeting your dad at the tournament. He walks around and comes around the golf course. Cool guy. How about now that you're more, even though it's a nonprofit, right? People always mistake the fact that a nonprofit still has to run and function like a business. Who would you say is a business mentor, a business hero to you? Who do you look forward to or look up to when you're saying, hey, if I could emulate my nonprofit, or if I could have these executive skills, who would it be?
I don't know if I look up to anyone to that degree.
That's cool.
That's a good one. Never really thought of it like that.
For me, what I always used to say, like in IT, I would always get to meet the CEOs of all of our clients and different businesses. And I would always see like 1 or 2 special abilities that each person had. And I kind of tried to Frankenstein that to myself. Okay, I want to run a meeting like that person does. I want finances, trying to be that, like, it's almost like, making the perfect quarterback, right? I want Brady's arm, but I want, Jackson's legs. So that was my thing there. How about first job?
My first job, wow, my first like job that I had to sign a contract to start, or cutting yards in the neighborhood. Which one you
Cutting
talking
yards in
about?
the neighborhood.
Yeah,
So yeah, for me,
it.
I was a water ice sweeper.
Water
How
ice
about
scoop. I love it. I love it.
yeah, I used to work at Joe's over at Terminal A at the Philadelphia International. I did that for a summer or two. Then I went to the supermarket. So I'll give you two more. We're trying, man. What's a quote that you live by?
Well, the one that I gave earlier is one of the quotes that I live by, is treat others the way that you want to be treated. That is foundational. Matter of fact, the first person I heard say that before I read it was my not my great grandma, my grandmother. She's no longer here. She's passed on. I call her Saint Dawkins. She's the person that's I remember saying that to me, and ever since she said it, it is stuck.
That's awesome. So my dad would have been 89 this year. He passed, but my whole life growing up, kind of in the similar veins, my dad always used to say, it's nicer to be nice. I think that it falls along the way. Treat people nice. Last one.
That's real.
What do you think? Obviously you've had a ton of plays, a ton of moments. Any, for the audience here, any, or maybe even top two, what were some of the best plays you feel of your career? Any magic moment? Obviously Hall of Fame being excluded, because everyone knows that's, that pinnacle of a career well done.
There's I don't say this to brag. It's a lot. There's a lot of plays that I surprised myself on, of some of the things that I was blessed to be able to do. But I guess two that stands out are the leaps. That I on the Giants receiver, I forget his name, and then the one on Ben Roethlisberger, where I had to actually jump over a lineman to make the play. So,
I remember watching
that. Things like that. Yeah, just things like that. But there's other things in there that won't be as heralded. I remember a time against Washington, they were like in a 2-minute, I think they were trying to go score or something like that. And we were playing at the link, and there was a third down, that they needed to get to get a first down. And I had to come down into the box, and they pulled one of their big linemen. And I remember rocking that dude. I don't know his name. All I know that, my 202 pound rocked a 315 pound dude, and actually put him on his back, where he grabbed me and pulled me on top of him because I hit him so hard. So just things like that the average person won't pay attention to. It won't be something that really think about. Those are the things that I think about. Those times that I really went in there and to go against dudes sometimes twice my size, right? But not backing down. And sometimes, to be honest with you, knowing that it's probably going to hurt, this thing I'm about to do is probably going to hurt, but I'm still going to do it. And
look, that's what made you a legend. That's why you were a fan favorite, because you were willing to do those things. So, as we wrap up here, you have a lot of fans, a lot of people around the world. What's one piece of advice that you would want to give to someone that wants to succeed at anything, whether it's business, sports, life? Like what's something for the younger generation that you think that they need to hear from you? Yeah, this is something that I tell my kids all the time. It's that the first thing is what I said earlier, right? Is that you don't go through life, you grow through it, right? You grow through everything. You're supposed to grow through every one of life's experiences. I believe the Lord has allowed us to have those to teach us something. We're supposed to learn something from it. So if you look at life through that lens, that'll help you. And then the other thing is, in order to be great or do anything great consistently, you have to fall in love with being uncomfortable. You have to fall. I'm not saying staying uncomfortable, no, but being uncomfortable, you have to fall in love with being uncomfortable, because it's only in being uncomfortable that you actually grow. We don't grow in comfort. We do not. If everyone was given everything that they want ever, all the time, we would just sit around the house and absolutely do nothing. But because those uncomfortable moments, right, when you're trying to do something, you learn something, same thing, you learn something from it, but you also, you develop something, you develop a character that can help you when you get to the next level. You won't take that next level for granted, you won't get to the next level and think I did it all by myself. Right. So those are the things that I would tell you. Those are the two things that I would tell you. That's awesome. And I think this generation, one, needs to hear that. And two, it's so well done and well said, because, I always joke, if I go into a room and I know everyone, I'm not going to grow. I need to meet different people to grow the business. I've needed different people to learn so many things. I mean, I didn't know about R&D tax credits in my industry. I didn't know about accounting methods and GAAP and all this other stuff that if you would have told me 20 years ago, I would have, who needs that? But yeah, it's growth. And I mean, you know what? It's your muscles. You got to break them down to build them up, right? That's why we lift weights. So, well, Brian, thanks so much for your time here.
That's a great.
Yeah, it's true. So, and look, you know what?
That's a great example.
We're all fighting Father Time too, right? So, I mean, look, I see you. I mean, we had a video at your event. I mean, you look like you can still play, by the way. But, you know, I think it's those things, just as journaling and everything else, you know, working out is mental clarity, right? It's great that your body's getting healthy and, you know, you're doing things, but I find working out to be therapeutic. I mean, it's sometimes just a little stress, a little tension. So great advice though.
Oh man, listen, the greatest, one of the greatest things that I do for my mental health and everything, like, is working out. That's one of the greatest things that's why I do it so often. Like that's why I stay up on it. Why? Because there's so much benefits to working out. There's so many other details we can go in, and these are things that I study. I've gone back now to be able to study some of these things and understand how working out blesses the brain. What is it? You know, what are the hormones and different things, the chemicals? I call them feel-good chemicals. What are the feel-good chemicals that are introduced to your brain that won't be introduced if you just sat around and did nothing, right? So, you know, those are the things that I begin to study.
Well, the other thing is we'll give this as a tease for the audience if they want to learn a little bit more. On your website, you also talk about deep sleep and a deep sleep system and how important sleep is to the well-being. So we won't get too much into that now if you want to give a little teaser. But if you're interested in deep sleep, which I need a little more of, I'm going there too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. If you're interested in deep sleep, let's just say that there's a system that I use, and I've been using it for a while now, that has blessed me to get into deep sleep on a regular basis.
I think everyone tuned in now, they probably need it. So, well, cool, Brian, you've been so generous with your time. I want to thank you for coming on. And for our audience, thank you so much for listening to Built to Scale with Anthony Mongeluzo. We'll be back with some business leaders and entrepreneurs, but I will say this, it's going to be a very long time until you get to hear from an NFL Hall of Famer. So again, thank you, Brian, and we'll see you next time on Built to Scale.